up, guys? Tambo here with your weekly core report. We're coming off of Thanksgiving, and our members and experts had a ton to be thankful for last week. Let's get to the winners. In the NBA streets, Ash Frank NFL won $1,500. NYG Fan used AP's heat map to win $1,800. D-Rex26 hit for $4,500, and new subscriber Tom hit for $15K. Burr PBC shipped for $33K, while the Man 11 had yet another huge payday, shipping for $100,000. RPS continues to dominate all sports, including World Cup soccer. Our team has been crushing it with the content, and we have the receipts to prove it. Go Boys 18 hit for $1K. New member Wes Ray won over $1,300. Jaime's content helped Poker Pastor get through a tough time, hitting for $2K. Big T won over $20K. Rubio's hard work grinding out soccer content paid off with a $20K shipper. Well, the biggest winner was RPS member Eddie, who turned $500 into over $30,000. Our NFL content has been on fire all season, and we didn't let the Thanksgiving holiday slow us down. We have plenty of free content available on our YouTube channel daily, so make sure to subscribe right now to access the winners. DK for 5 hit big on Thanksgiving, winning $10K. C Jacobs 986 joined him, shipping for $15K. On the main slate, Racing Jason 910 hit for over $6K. LT Dog 24 shipped for $50K, while my own heater continued, winning my first FFWCC. For Showdown, our guy Hoop was a big winner, shipping for over $100K across sites. He used his core plays laid out for our premium members, including a low-owned Jelani Woods, who ended up breaking the slate. Shout out to YGuy223, who won over $9K as well. Congrats again to all our members. If you want to be featured in the core report, drop your winning lineup in the Members Never Win channel in our premium Discord. If you're not a member, join now. You won't find a better value with all sports included for one low price. And while you're watching, hit that like button now. Remember, if you're not winning with us, you're watching us win. Till next time, let's keep running pure.
What is going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Talking some hoops, NBA Hardwood show, Hoop, AP, myself, breaking out a nice 8-game slate. Also got football tonight. Always love Mondays, always love Thursdays. Get some basketball. You get some Mondays, especially because we usually have a bigger basketball slate. Get some football. A lot of money to be made. A lot of money was made this past weekend over at Run Pure Sports. One person in particular, Alicia. She was just on the show prior, talking some showdown football with Big T and JT. $1 million from like $90 in the Millie Maker or something, 200 total to like 1.1 million. Just incredible stuff, Alicia. I also saw a lot of other screenshots from some members as well. So good weekend over here at RPS. Hopefully everybody had a good real life weekend as well. Hoop, I'll throw it over to you first. You had yourself a good weekend as well in the MMA streets. You had showdown a little earlier. You didn't talk about it too much yesterday when you thought Crane was going to compliment you on a nice little week you've had. Yeah. He was talking USA soccer, so I'll let you talk a little bit about your heater you've been on.
Yeah, that's what happens, when you're on with Crane and Big T. Instead of the compliments, they come at you a little bit. So, instead of complimenting Hoop on, shipping the showdown last Monday, then a little MMA shipper on Saturday, they make fun of me about soccer. So, glad to be back home with my boys where they appreciate, their co-hosts winning DFS contest. Last Monday was big, but Saturday, you and I were texting, we talked on the phone Saturday night, and again, not new to MMA. I mean, I know it pretty well, but I don't know like the ins and outs and the matchups. It's what I literally just pull up the playbook that you could compose and make my teams. And that's no joke. I look at the odds and I look at the playbook. Now I've been in it now for a couple of years where I have a little bit of input, but for the most part, I'm riding with my boy Title and led me down the right path with Wonder Boy. I didn't have a ton of him before I read that. And I went through and read your write-up a couple times and switched over to more Wonder Boy heavy. And that was probably one of the best fights I've ever seen. It's obviously better because I had the chance to win a shit ton of money as I was watching it. But man, like he just broke Holland, like literally just broke him mentally. And it was cool to see because they were kind of going back and forth. And after they said what they had some agreement, if it ever got to the mat, they're just popping right back up. And dude, they were throwing some free. I don't know how Holland ate those shots, man. Like 90% of dudes would have had to just be blacked out after some of those shots. That was incredible.
Those kicks were brutal, man.
Brutal. He was just taking them.
He was eating them ever since the first round. I mean, the punches too. He stepped in. The chin was absolutely insane from Holland. And yeah, he's definitely regretting the going to the ground and getting back up and striking with the striker because that was where his advantage was. But I mean, Wonder Boy picked him apart. It was a masterpiece. That's what Wonder Boy does at distance, though. He picked him apart. So yeah, he got you.
Yeah, it took down the 555 for $30K, and like I said, you got me more Wonder Boy heavy. That's for sure from the playbook. So appreciate.
Yeah, I remember in Discord, I had to look back earlier because I remember you saying something about Holland, and you're like, Holland will dust this dude right before lock. It
was right before lock, and I did say that because I thought, but man, like I literally adjusted like really close because I built those 555 teams last, and I could not get like the right combination to fit in my 150. I kind of have more Holland, but those last teams, which I put more time and effort into, I think I put 7 in that $555 contest, and I just couldn't get things to fit. I said, you know what? I'll just go Wonder Boy. I think I had like maybe 60% of Wonder Boy or something in that contest, and it ended up getting the job done there.
Yeah, it was a nice win for you for sure. Showdown. You've been on fire over here. AP, you know what else has been on fire? Saturday NBA streets, man, Gomes been crushing for a long time. You've been crushing. I saw a bunch of members winning on Saturday as well. It's not just MMA. It's not just college football on Saturdays. NBA never stops. Always big prize pools. How was your weekend with NFL, with NBA? Nice little slate today. What's going on, AP?
Yeah, the weekend was a lot of fun. I mean, we got to take our L's, and we all do that here. I think we do a really good job of that. It was painful. So I ended up like my style of play, especially NFL and stuff, kind of similar to you guys. I mean, we take stands. I try to get very overweight on whatever stacks I'm on. I ended up getting very overweight on the Jalen Hurts stacks, which absolutely crushed in the opening window. However, I had 100% Derrick Henry in all of those stacks too, because I'm like, oh, big dog's gonna eat. It's December. We were talking about it on the show. The dude puts up like the lowest number I think he has in like 3 or 4 years or something like that. Just absolutely insane. But going into the late window, I was still way, way, way up there. And I thought I had a pretty good number. I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those days where I just cash, and when the Chiefs game gets going and everything, everyone's going to start climbing, catching me. I think it was Pirine when he got that 100-yard bonus. It's just that thing where all my lineups went to like from like min cashing to then bubbling. So that's how my day was. And then to make matters worse, Kansas City lost. But hey, it is what it is. We always got next week, and we got NBA today, and we have a really, really nice slate. Really excited to break it down with you guys.
Yeah, your Chiefs took an L, but hey, you'd rather take one in the regular season, AP.
All right, I gotta say one thing too. It's so funny, like, oh man, people love and like sell. It's like a national holiday when the Chiefs lose. It's fucking crazy. You should see my mentions. Chiefs lose, all these dudes come out and they're in the mentions. A lot of Cowboys fans too, and everything. So we'll see. Cowboys look good. Maybe Kansas City Cowboys. Super Bowl. We'll see. I think
KC will dust them. I'll tell you what. Dak Prescott sucks. Dak Prescott is not good. I'll stand by that. I mean, my quarterback takes have been pretty solid, pretty spot on. He's not good. He's not getting the job done.
Him or Kyler.
He's better than Kyler. Yeah, Dak's definitely better than Kyler.
You know who is good though. And when he's focused, Joey Burrow, man, that dude's a stud.
Yeah,
absolute stud, man. He is. That was a good game. They always show up, and they own the Chiefs right now. So hopefully they don't have to see him in the playoffs. I'll say that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you said, though, you'd rather take the L in the regular season. AP, everyone comes out of the woodwork, chirping when they lose. That's when your team's as good as it can get. When people lose, everyone else celebrates across the league. You got to feel good about that. Everyone's in your mentions. They don't lose very often. So, I mean, the AFC is absolutely loaded. The playoff time, it's coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun, especially in the AFC. Who said it in chat? Richard, no 49ers Super Bowl. Yeah, and Jimmy G injury, that definitely changed the 49ers outlook. It'll be interesting.
People trying to make it seem like Baker Mayfield's going to save them. Like, fuck, man, give me the backup over Baker. Like, Baker's a disaster.
We were talking about that NFL touchdown spread, Tyler, myself. We said, don't bring in Baker either. I mean, CMC's probably like, no chance I want to play with this dude.
Yeah,
again.
hell, remember how bad CMC was with him?
That's
Like, he refused to check down. Like, if you want to play CMC moving forward, like, do not endorse the Baker Mayfield to San Fran thing.
No, definitely not. AP, you're about to say something before we talk some NBA?
I can't even remember what I was going to say.
Those gummies starting to take a toll on you.
Oh, no, not yet. Not yet.
I'm
started thinking about Baker Mayfield, and I'm like, oh, that would be – is that who they're looking at?
That's what they're saying. He just got released. So they're saying, like, he's going to go there.
Yeah, no.
If you're a San Fran fan, you definitely don't want that to happen.
Oh, I mean, okay. So if the decision is between Baker Mayfield and Purdy, I mean, you got to go Mayfield, though, right?
No, I was saying
backup.
I'll roll with the backup, earlier, man. Yeah, I'll roll with the backup.
Baker's not a strong conviction.
Baker's freaking is bad, man. He's bad.
I mean, it's just like when McCaffrey's one of your best players, we've already seen how bad McCaffrey looked. Yeah. Simon said Lattimore out tonight against the Bucks. Yeah, I assume most of you saw that in the showdown. Get in the NFL Discord as always. Watch the show with Tambo, or not Tambo. Speaking of Tambo, he had another great showing at the King of the Beach. So congrats to you, Tambo. 6th place, I believe. But JT, Big T, and then the Millie Maker winner. They were just on the live show on this YouTube channel talking NFL showdown. So make sure you check that out. Big night tonight. Before we get game by game, 8 games on the NBA slate. Let's say some hi to some people in chat. Nadesify, always picking winners in chat. We got Jordan, Baseball Dads, Matty Ice, Colin, WV Reezer, Locks, Drew Carpenter, Apone, Junior. Junior said Hoops Football Core absolutely printed yesterday. Hope you guys checked that out.
Yeah, printed for everyone besides me, unfortunately. I was talking to AP about it earlier. I had the fucking nuts guys in there, and then like the 3 guys outside of my core like combined for like 20 fantasy points or something. It was a disaster for me. It's like everyone's hitting me up. It's like, your core smashed. I'm like, yeah, I know it did. But the other guys I picked outside of the core, I needed some help on because it was not pretty.
Yeah, that always stinks. But hey, at least the core printed for a lot of people. Glad you had some success, Junior. We got Richard, Corey Holt, David, Smooth, Caitlin, M Stacks. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us. As always, like button, subscribe button. That's all we ask for from you. We appreciate when you do hit it. We got 8 games though. We have a lot of injury news as always. So let's jump right into it. First game of the night, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Orlando Magic, 225.5 total. The Bucks are favored by 9.5. On the Bucks side, I mean, now Middleton's back, Drew's back, Giannis is back, so they're a lot healthier. Serge is out. Grayson Allen is questionable. Brooke Lopez is questionable. So Brooke and Grayson, a little news there. As far as the Orlando side, they're still pretty thin. Wendell Carter's out. Jalen Suggs is out. Chumo Kiki's out. Gary Harris is out. Mo Bamba is questionable. Hoop, I'll start with you in this game. Obviously, Giannis, if you can fit him, is always a great play. Do you think you'll be able to fit him on a slate like this? Drew at 7'4", Franz 6'1". I think the Milwaukee side's a little more interesting just because the Giannis, the Drews, but it's not a game I'm loving at first sight. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I mean, overall on the slate, just looking at it, it's just like to me, it's a slate where you just don't want to get cute. And I know, people want to make the cases for fading guys and taking stands against popular plays. The good plays are the good plays on the slate. We have a ton of value. So anyone, to me, that you're viewing as like a fringe play, just don't even go there. And to me, everyone on the Orlando side would be classified as like a fringe play. I just can't imagine playing any Magic guys tonight, no matter the format. I mean, I want nothing here. Then on the Bucks side, they got their guys back. You can always play Giannis. I mean, I think he probably comes in lower owned than you might imagine here, just because of the matchup with Orlando. People aren't going to love that. It's the 7:00 game. We're probably waiting on some news because we have, what would be one of the most popular plays on the slate, and TJ McConnell being listed as questionable. Like, people aren't going to lock in as many early guys as possible. So I think you can play Giannis. Maybe Drew Holiday, just because of the price tag. The price tag's very nice at 7.4, but that's where I draw the line here. It's Giannis, it's Drew, and they're not like core plays or anything. I think they're fine. but definitely can't play any Orlando Magic, or at least I'm not playing any Orlando Magic guys on this slate. This is a very easy game to break down.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I mean, AP, I'll go to you. So talk a little bit about the injury news. Does the Brook Lopez, the Grayson Allen Q tags mean anything? Does anyone get a bump there? Maybe a Bobby Portis? And then they're already without Wendell Carter Jr., Mo Bamba questionable. We've seen this a little bit recently. Does that change anything on the Magic side if he's ruled out?
Yeah, I mean, Hoop, really nice breakdown there. I agree with them. I mean, if you look at the Orlando side, I think they get blown out tonight. They look bad. They've been like good at certain times in these home games, but I like when they go big. Now they got Fultz, they got Cole Anthony back coming off the bench. They're playing 10 plus dudes. God, the rotation's just bad. So Hoop broke it down really nicely. I agree with them. I'm just crossing Orlando off. I'm not even going to consider any of them on this slate. And even like if I was playing 150 tonight, I'm MMEing and I'm just crossing them off. So that makes it very easy. And then, okay, this is a slate though. We're going to get to a couple games where we're going to have some very, very elite value that we need to just jam in. And what it's going to do is it's going to open things up and create it to be very easy to get some of these studs. So on slates like that, you do have to consider like the floor ceiling combination of a guy like Giannis, which kind of puts him in play. However, I'm kind of with Hoop though too on Drew Holiday, 7-4. I think the price tag is just nice enough to where you could play him. He's been playing, your boy Drew Holiday, been playing very good. Guards have been smashing this Orlando team. I mean, team's best player have been smashing. Like anyone have been smashing this Magic team. They're not good defensively right now. So, but if I had to play someone from a price standpoint, Drew Holiday would be the guy I would look at. And then the other thing I'm going to do, Title, is I'm going to bump up a lot of this value that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to see what these double stud builds look like a Giannis, Luka, or Tatum, or any of those, Curry, whoever. I'm going to see what those builds look like using some of that value, because I do think it's going to be a night to where you could potentially make the case to go with a double stud build.
Yeah, and I think people will only go one stud max in their builds and go. People don't usually like jamming in two 10K plus players or two 9.5K plus players. I think that's the same on this slate. So yeah, I think it'll be go to SaberSim, bump the projections like we're talking. AP's talking about. Big T always bumps it as well when they go game by game on the slate. You like your projections, you see what SaberSim spits out, whether it's a double stun build. I think SaberSim's a great tool to do that. So that's a good point, AP. It'll be a contrarian route. And you're not saying for sure you're going to do that. You're going to do your numbers. You're going to go in SaberSim. And if it doesn't spit out double stud builds, you're not going to force it, right? You'll just mess around with it.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you go, like, one other thing I do really like about SaberSim is, in their hub, that main screen, you can see all the different builds that you've run. If you go, and you can even go back, look at previous slates, you'd laugh if you saw mine, because I'm running the simulations or whatever you want to call it 15, 20 times a slate, just seeing the different combinations, seeing the different possibilities that others might be looking at as well. And then what I like to do is you can make the other cool thing about Saber. We'll talk about this on Thursday, so make sure to catch that show if you're listening, where the SaberSim show. You can make the screen big and you can just go through all the different builds and pick and choose which ones you like. So a lot of cool features over there.
Yeah, AP and Jordan do a SaberSim show every Thursday. You can go back and look at it as well. A lot of the content's vanilla. You'll learn something new every time. But they do a great job. You have questions in it, they'll get those questions answered. Talk NBA, talk NFL. So make sure you check that show out on Thursday. SaberSim, a great tool. That's our partnership we have over here at Run Pure Sports. You can just do the Run Pure Sports side, get in the Discord, core plays, playbook, cash chart, all of that. You also have the option to add on the SaberSim package, though. So head to Run Pure Sports, check that out. Let's get to the next game on the slate. Not too much interest in the first game with the Bucks and the Magic. Second game of two that lock at 7 p.m. Eastern. Los Angeles Clippers, Charlotte Hornets, 216.5 total. Clippers are favored by 4. Going to the injury report, starting on Charlotte. They're still pretty thin. Gordon Hayward, LaMelo, Dennis Smith Jr., Cody Martin, all are out. Go to the other side for the Clippers. Norman Powell still out. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, Luke Kennard, all questionable. We will get this news, obviously, before lock, with it starting at 7. I mean, you can't do anything on the Clippers side until we know the news. At Paul George and Kawhi and them play, I think it's a pretty easy cross-off. If they're out, I'm going to be interested to see what you guys got to say about the Clippers side. As far as Charlotte, I'll just say Mason Plumlee. I mean, man, he's finally playing over 30 minutes. Beginning of the year, a lot of Mason's career, he just doesn't get over 25 minutes usually with how thin they are. Playing 30 minutes, playing good basketball, back-to-back 30-plus DK points. AP, any Mason Plumlee for you? Anyone else on Charlotte? And talk about this Clippers news.
Yeah, so I mean, if you've been, in the NBA streets, and if you're a member out there, been in the NBA streets this season, Clippers are frustrating, man. Ty Lue with these rotations are it's really difficult. But one thing, and we almost need to make like a flow chart because bigs against the Hornets. I love it. I've been playing it all season long. There's multiple spots where we could target bigs against teams. The Pacers, the Hornets. I think OKC, another one. But so yeah, I'm going to be looking at Zubac here. He's 6'6". I think he goes a little bit overlooked. The guy's been an absolute beast. He's the one guy I trust because it's matchup dependent. I think he's going to get a ton of boards here. Easy double spot in my opinion for Zubac as long as he gets the minutes. So that's where I'm going on the Clippers side. And then even if Paul George and Kawhi are out, I don't think this is not the slate where we need to going back to what Hoop said. Any fringe type play? No, I'm not going there. So Reggie Jackson, John Wall, these guys are splitting minutes, splitting the rotation there. I'm not going to go there. Marcus Morris has just been really bad this season. And then who knows what they do off the bench? It's like Rocco one night, and then it's Nick Batum the other night. So I'm not going to go there. I mean, if you want to go Nick Batum, what would that be? When did he play for the Hornets? Was that like 3 years ago now? 4 years ago.
While.
I mean, it's been a while.
About right. So,
yeah. I mean, if you want to like reach for a narrative, there you go. He's not even in the heat map though. I wouldn't even consider him on a player pool. But on the other side of this game, I do think there's one really, really good play because the Hornets are still running a very tight rotation. Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, Jalen McDaniels, PJ Washington, kind of the four guys there playing a ton of minutes. Plumlee too, he's been playing good minutes, but Nick Richards has been phenomenal off the bench to back up Plumlee. I'm not saying we go Nick Richards. You could play him if you want. There's better values, but man, I think Terry Rozier is a phenomenal play here. 7'8" is someone I actually would consider, even though I'm prioritizing other spots later on the slate. Terry Rozier has struggled mightily with his shot, but the guy continues to chuck. It looks like he's starting to find something. It looks like the field goal percentage is starting to come up a little bit. And even if he's cold, he's getting to the line, something we like to see. A lot of the best players out there do that when they're cold shooting. Terry Rozier, 7,800. You can play him shooting guard or small forward spot. He's the guy I like the best here on the Hornets side.
Yeah, I like the Terry call. I mean, the dude just chucks. The usage is there. Shot starts falling a little bit. Like I said, like you said, the field goal numbers look good from 2-point land. The 3-point is still a little off. He starts in a couple of those. You can see a big boy from him. So I agree. Hoop. Or actually, one other question for you, AP. You said Zubac. Even if Kawhi and Paul George are in, you're good with Zubac?
I mean, it's not as good of a play. I honestly, if they're out, all right. So it's a road. They're starting I think it's a 4 or 5 game road trip too. So I would kind of be surprised if Paul George and Kawhi played here. We haven't seen them both play in a long time, like together. I think it's more likely that one of them plays, one of them sits, but who knows? We don't have that news yet. So yeah, not as high on him if both of them are in, but if Leonard and PG are out, I mean, we saw what did he do? I think this was against the Pacers, not even like a week ago, or maybe almost a week.
Yeah, you're talking about the 31-29 game,
29 rebounds. I'm telling you, this is a spot against the Hornets where he's just going to be a rebound machine. So I mean, it would not surprise me at all if he had like 15 to 20 boards here. So an Andre Drummond type of performance if those guys are out.
Yeah, I mean, if they're out, Reggie Jackson's price tag at 5'3", Marcus Morris 5'5". I think you could look at a couple Clippers. If they're in, I think it's pretty easy cross off. Hoop, Charlotte's still pretty thin. Talk about plays there. Any interest for you on the Clippers? Talk about that news a little bit.
Yeah, Clippers, we're going to have to, kind of wait and see, but this is 7 p.m. Eastern game. So the Up the Lock crew, I'm sure we'll get this news and kind of cover it. But if all these guys are in, there's not much appeal. I mean, you could make the case for Zubac, but that's a big boy price tag, 6.6K. It's not comfortable for him. So again, gonna have to wait and see on the Clippers in terms of who's in and who's out. But still, regardless, even when they're super thin, it's a frustrating team for fantasy purposes. On the Hornets, I think there's clear plays. I agree. Terry Rozier. I mean, you look at the shot attempts for Terry Rozier: 21, 21, 23. 18, 14, 33. I'm sure that was an overtime game or something. You know, you're getting at least upper teens in terms of shots. You know, you're getting peripherals. A guy that has his ball in his hand quite a bit throughout the game. The price is still, I think, fair, 7.8K. Interested in him. And then Mason Plumlee. I mean, Mason Plumlee, I think, is a play here too. The minutes are up now. I mean, upper 20s to low 30s. He's a guy that when he gets minutes, he produces for the most part, at least 26 fantasy points on 5 out of his last 6 games. Only one dud mixed in there, and that was against Boston. Boston is really, really good team, so you kind of give him the pass there. Rozier, Plumlee, I think clear plays in this game. Clippers, we got to see who's in or out.
Yep, good breakdown there. I agree. Don't think you need to load up on these first 2 games too much. Piece here and there, 2 7 p.m. Eastern games, but we are waiting on a lot of news. So it's not the best games. Of course, Clippers, Paul George, Kawhi get ruled out. A little more interest on the Clippers side, but that's the first 2 games of the night. Again, all
right, Title, real quick. Cody H in chat, one, appreciate you watching the show, but
he's always trolling a little bit.
Terry, you don't like a guy that's going to play 40 minutes tonight and shoot like 25 times? I mean, if you don't like that, the good thing about DFS is you don't have to play it. Like I'll play it, but you don't have to. So, man,
he's always trolling a little bit in chat. We appreciate it, Corey. But I mean, I'll take a guy that's going to play 40 minutes, going to shoot the ball. Over 20
it is
times.
Frustrating when he's missing, and he's been missing a lot lately. But what I'm telling you, and I called it with the Lakers over your Bucks title on the Friday show. We watch these games and we see things. What I see is his shot starting to come back. The last matchup he had was against the Bucks, the best defensive team in the NBA right now. Tough matchup, and he still had a decent field goal percentage. Smashed in the game before against Washington. So I think Rozier has a big night. I think the Hornets beat the Clippers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all opportunity. I'm not going to guess. No one will ever know. Will a shot fall? Will it not fall? As long as the guy is shooting, it has the possibility to go in. I'll take my chances and just hope it's a good performance. So that's about that. That's that game. Again, like button, big red subscribe button. We appreciate it from you. Let's get to the next game on the slate at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. OKC Thunder, Atlanta Hawks. Big total, 237.5. Hawks are favored by 6.5. OKC is healthy. No injury news to talk there. As far as Atlanta, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins are both out. Jalen Johnson, we saw him slide into the starting lineup. He's a talented basketball player. He's 3.7K. I think he'll get a little ownership, but there's also a lot of value on this slate. So maybe not as much on this slate than he would some other slates. I think he's interesting. Trey, DeJounte, Clint Capella, I think all of them make some sense. As far as OKC, SGA or bust kind of is how I usually look at them. Poku, maybe if you want to add that in. Hoop, I'll go to you in this one. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, the Thunder side, I mean, it's really SGA or Giddey's been playing pretty well too the last couple games. He's had some big boy scores, 44, 55 fantasy points. So I think those two for sure. Giddey probably more of like a 150 play just because of the price tag. I mean, 7.5K, it's getting up there. But again, he's crushed the last two. So they're an easy team for fantasy right now. I mean, we've talked about it on the shows for a while where just really can't trust the rotations at forward and center for this team, power forward and center. So makes it easy. SGA, Giddey. On the Hawks side, the injury news, I think, is a big bump to a few guys. Number one, Clint Capella. I mean, Clint Capella is a guy that you really just need minutes. Like if you know he's playing upper 20s, you probably want to play him when he's priced like this, and he's going to play upper 20s to low 30s. Just very productive at this price point. So I'm definitely in on him. Probably one of my favorite plays. I think he's a phenomenal play. And then Jalen Johnson slid into the starting role. As long as he is in, 32 minutes, 32 fantasy points. He was very active, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3.7K, very cheap price tag for him. And then the last guy I like is obviously Trae Young. With those guys out, I think he obviously gets a nice little boost as well. 9.6K, a little bit cheaper than those other studs. Like if you're looking at, Giannis, he's 2,000 cheaper than Giannis. If you're looking at Luka, who I do like quite a bit tonight, you're talking, was that $3,000 cheaper than Luka as well? So interested in Trey as well. So I think there's 5 clear plays here: SGA, Giddey, Trey Young, Jalen Johnson, Capella. I have a feeling Capella has a big night though. He's the guy that I'm really looking at tonight.
Yeah, without Collins and Hunter, minutes go up, rebounding rate goes up. I definitely like that call. Expect some ownership on him today, but the Hawks side's a good side for sure, AP. Before I get to you though, quick, Danny in chat said, question, do you guys do weekly for new signups? We do have a weekly option on Run Pure Sports. Again, make sure you get in the Discord, but yes, weekly, monthly, annually. So Run Pure Sports, check that out. We do, and we hope to see you in chat, Danny. Being there watching on the ride home. Appreciate you being there. Twig was making me laugh and chase it. That was a great call on Friday, AP. He kind of thought you were drunk though at first when you were making it. So
the Miami and Laker money line.
Yeah. So hey, you got the job done. He thought you were drunk and you realized at night you must not have been drunk. You were picking winners. But AP in this game, Hawks side looks a lot better to me. Talk about that side. SGA, can you get to him? Anyone on OKC? What's your thoughts on this one?
I mean, the only time I'm never drunk during the day. Sometimes might be tipsy, but that's if I'm golfing during the day. So come on, man.
Mo Bamba ruled out too. It just popped up. If you want to touch on that, if it does anything for you.
No, it's back to what we were saying. I'll just go with what Hoop was saying. I mean, if you want to play, I don't want to play those dudes against the Bucks. They're going to destroy them. So no, I mean, what, Mo Wagner, he'd move into the starting lineup, but it's a bad matchup for him, man. He's going to be in constant foul trouble. So no, I'll be off that. Speaking of just like fringe plays, guy like the OKC side, very similar for me to the Orlando Magic. I just want to like cross it off. Yeah, Shea is the one guy I would play, but it's either him or Giddey. And I'm done with Giddey when he's out there with Shea. So if he beats me, unless his price tag gets down to the point to where you have to consider him. On the Hawks side, look, they should have another tight rotation. Jalen Johnson, I believe played for Duke a couple years ago. Looks like he's really starting to develop. He looked really good. Looked good alongside Capella too. 10 rebounds last game, put up a nice number, 3.7K on DraftKings. So I think he's a fine value to target. Shout out to Gary too. He had a nice stat mention on Twitter about Trey Young and his usage rates with various pieces out. Trey Young, absolute baller. I like the spot. He should be fresh too, coming off that game that he sat out. So, and then if he wants, he should be a little extra motivated too with the whole stuff going on with him and his coach. So Trey Young is the guy I like the best here. And I don't mind pairing him with Jalen Johnson, and then I like Hoop's call on Capella. A lot of strong center plays on this slate.
Yeah, there is. Jalen Johnson, another Wisconsin kid. Tyrese Hero, another one for the list for Jalen Johnson. Let's shout out before we get to the next game. Let's shout out some members and coordinators over the weekend, though. Actually, I think this is last weekend. Tomorrow might be for this upcoming weekend, but nonetheless, shouting out some people. Drex26 hit for 4,500 in NBA. Tom hit for 15,000 in NBA. For PBC, 33,000 in NBA. The man, 100,000 in NBA. Not only the NBA, though, World Cup has absolutely been on fire. Poker Raptor turned 2,000 in soccer. Big T won over 20,000. I think he won another 20,000 last week as well in soccer. Same can be said about Rubio, 20,000. I think he's hit twice for 20,000 in the World Cup so far. Then Eddie turned $500 into 30,000. Jaime Rubio absolutely been crushing the soccer streets in the World Cup. It's not over yet, so you can get in the Discord. You can head to Run Pure Sports, check out the soccer content. They have been crushing it. In the NFL streets, DK for five, hit for 10,000 in NFL. C Jacobs 986, 15,000 in NFL. LT Dog 24, 50,000 in NFL. Tambo got himself a live final seat, and then Hoop chipped for over 100,000 with Jelani Woods. So that was 2 weeks ago. If you want to be on tomorrow's Members Never Win segment, drop your screenshots in there. You have a chance to be on this segment. And the Members Never Win segment is in Discord. So we appreciate when you do that. Everyone loves getting shouted out. Why not go and drop them in the Members Never Win? Shout out to all those members and coordinators that were on this segment as well. Like button, subscribe button. We need 542 watching, 160 likes. Let's go 310 likes today. I think that is a very easy number to get. 310 is the number. Let's get right back into it. Fourth game on the slate, Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors, 228 total. Toronto is favored by 1. On the Boston side, Al Horford is still out. Malcolm Brogdon is questionable. As far as Toronto, they're a lot more healthy. Otto Porter, Precious Achiuwa, the only ones out there. AP, I'll go right back to you in this one. Take it away. Anything you like in this game?
Yes, I mean, man, how good is Boston right now? They are just incredible.
Too good
on the offensive end of the court and defense. It's crazy.
And AP, without Robert Williams, this is too, which is even a scarier thing.
Yeah, I mean, all of their all their key guys, they can all play deep. Like Derek White was in the paint, guarding a big. Derek White, are you kidding me? And he's holding his own down there. I mean, very, very impressive what they're doing. They switch. They're playing smart basketball. They pass really. They almost not different. Okay, very, very different, but they almost remind me of kind of like the Warriors when the Warriors are just in sync, pass the ball really, really fast. And then switching really good on defense and then hitting shots too. I mean, it's just crazy the shots that they're hitting right now. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch this game because Toronto, what they typically like to do, Nick Nurse, he likes to take away the team's best player. He'll just literally it might be maybe they key on Jaylen Brown tonight. Who knows? I mean, if it's me, you're trying to take away Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Both are absolute studs. Jaylen Brown right now is on fire, put up a 63 and 65 piece against Miami, and then the Nets. Would not surprise me at all if he put up another big one tonight. It comes down to, what are the Raptors going to do? If they try to take away Brown, Tatum's going to go off. If they try to take away Tatum, Brown's going to go off. Or you see Marcus Smart, Grant Williams hit shots. Who knows? Boston could do it in so many different ways, but it's a slate where I'm going to be considering both Tatum or Brown. And that's where I'm telling you, one thing I'm going to do when I get off the show, I'm going to put in all the values that I like. I'm going to give them a very fair projection, maybe even over what the industry has them at. And then I'm going to bump up these guys. I'm going to create some rules. I'm going to create a Tatum or Brown rule in there in SaberSim and just see what the builds look like. Even though the matchup is tough, I think one of the two is definitely in consideration here, especially when you just factor in the rotations too. So it's almost back to that Terry Rozier play. We know what we're getting with Brown and Tatum, 38 to 40 minutes, but better at basketball, can hit shots. So, and then on the other side, I like Siakam a lot, 9,500. You can play him at the power forward centered position. And the guy's he's having a phenomenal year, man. He's taking his game to the next level. This is a big game. It's going to be fun to watch. I actually think it maybe goes under the total 228. Maybe we see more defense here, but for fantasy purposes, Siakam and then Brown and Tatum on that side. And then I would like Fred VanVleet. He's struggling right now, but he's going to turn it around. The price is really coming down to a level to where in tournaments, if you're playing a lot of lineups, man, I don't know. He'd be a guy I would definitely consider because we all know he is capable of putting up a 50+ type piece. So, and it wouldn't be surprising at all if he did it here. If Toronto gets the win over the Celtics tonight.
Yeah, he has shot the ball pretty poorly as of late. I do have not only the shooting concerns though, his usage rate. You check that out: 19, 17, 21 the past 3 games. He's just taking the back seat a little bit, but the price
part of that is the offense, really running through Siakam now, just with how good he's been. So,
yeah, that's the only concern I have a little bit. But I mean, we were seeing Fred VanVleet at 8.7 last year, 8.5K. Now he's low 7Ks. But I do think the price is warranted with Siakam back, and they're pretty healthy. Boston, Toronto, anything you like in this game for DFS?
Yeah, a lot of the same thoughts. Jaylen Brown, I think, is a solid option at 8.4K. I'd probably just play him over Tatum. I mean, I think right now, yes, who has more upside? Probably Tatum, who's the safe, who do I think scores more fantasy points night in, night out? Tatum. But man, there's a $2,000 price difference. And I'm going to definitely have more Tatum or more Brown than Tatum. Not going to play really anyone else. The Fred VanVleet thing, I love Fred VanVleet. He's been struggling though lately, but with those struggles has come a decrease in price, and he's about as cheap as we've seen. I'd say probably the last couple seasons for sure. I mean, last year he was very steadily in the 8K range. It's down to 7-2, and he's going to turn it around here at some point. You're getting upper 30s, potentially 40 minutes in close ball games. I will definitely have some Van Fleet and then Siakam as well. I mean, a phenomenal season from Siakam. He's a guy that I would think I want to keep in my player pool most nights. And tonight is no different. So, the guys I definitely will have a decent chunk of: Jaylen Brown, Van Fleet, and Siakam here.
I like it.
Todd, real quick. I had to pull this up. So in the regular season, we'll use Jaylen Brown. He's played the Raptors 21 times that I can see. How many times do you think out of those 21 that he's put up over 40 DK points?
14.
Only twice.
I knew
insane,
it was one end of the spectrum.
Yeah. So it's just a function of, and if we think Nurse is going to do that, he throws the kitchen sink at the team's best player. So maybe, when you look at their lineup, maybe that's Jaylen Brown tonight. So, and I'm getting sucked in at the 8,400 price tag too. And if he puts up like a 34 piece, which he's historically done a lot against them, oh man, that's going to sink your lineup. So I might have to rethink that.
Man, I knew when you asked that question, how you worded it, it was going to be at one end of this. I knew it was either going to be really high or really low. And I guess 14 wasn't even in the, it wasn't either really high or really low. So
he's been terrible. They're a little different now. So and you can't always take the historical stuff into consideration, but that is one thing we do know that Nick Nurse, like Tatum, actually has some monster games against them. So I'm going to have to relook at that for sure.
I agree with what you said earlier. I think it's a better real life game than it is DFS. Pick a piece here or there. I think Toronto's a little more interesting side, but it should be a really good basketball game for sure. Two good teams, a lot of talent on the court. Let's get to the next game. This game locks at 8 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia 76ers, Houston Rockets, 221.5 total. Philly is favored by 8.5. James Harden is supposed to be back today. Tyrese Maxey is still out. George Niang is questionable. As far as the Houston side, they are healthy. AP, I'll go right back to you in this one. Harden's only 9K. Can you get to him on this slate in his first game back? Him back probably hurts Embiid. At least I think so. Are you going to get to his price tag at 11.4? And then anything else you like in this game?
Yeah, I mean, these are always the interesting spots because there's a lot of question marks. We haven't seen James Harden in quite some time. And it's, are they going to limit him in any way? Here's kind of how I'm doing it. If we get, we need that news, like for me not to want to play Harden in a spot like this where he could put up a triple double in 25, 26 minutes against this Rockets team, man, we would need some sort of news that says he's going to be limited to 20 some minutes or something like that. If nothing comes, I'm going to work under the assumption that, he's going to get his normal run of 30 plus minutes. And so in that scenario, he's a really strong play at 9K. So I want to look into it a little bit more. The matchup's phenomenal. I think he could put up if he plays 35 plus minutes here, he's putting up a huge number against this Rockets team that just gets destroyed by opposing guards. And then Embiid too. If it's a good spot for Embiid. I mean, just look at the Rockets play no defense. They play with pace and they keep the games competitive enough to avoid blowouts, which keeps the other side of the game still in there. So, it's hard not to like James Harden here unless there's going to be restrictions on his play. So give me James Harden and then Joel Embiid. I do have a little bit of interest because, we talked about that, getting these multiple studs in. I will say center is loaded. There's a lot of really strong center options. So I'm not saying he's a must or anything like that, but he is a very interesting tournament play.
You were talking Nick Batum revenge game from years ago. I was waiting for the James Harden revenge.
Yeah,
Get that as well in this one. Probably enjoy the clubs afterward, I imagine, with Harden back in his hometown. I don't think it's his hometown, but where he spent a lot of his career, where he was a stud. Hoop, Rockets, and Philly. Talk about the Harden situation, though. Do you have any? I mean, I don't know about the minutes either. I'd assume he's going to play 30 minutes, maybe not push him to 40. I don't know. We do have to see if they come out with any report, but him back and B, does that mean no? Can you get to this price tag? Break down this game.
Yeah, I think Harden's definitely a play at 9K. I mean, he started out super hot before this injury, 9K is a great price tag, and he falls into, arguably one of the best matchups ever. I just don't think he's going to be limited at all. So I'm interested at 9K in this good matchup for sure. So some people might be hesitant. So he's going to be lower owned than he typically would be in this spot at this price tag. So I'm definitely in on Harden at 9K. And then Embiid, yeah, I mean, he's going to take away some. I wouldn't play them together for sure. If you're building a bunch of teams, set a rule to make sure it's, one or the other or neither. I mean, you obviously these aren't like must plays by any means, but you don't want to play those two together. Harden at 9K, I think is a really good play on this slate. We've seen it a lot this season where guys come back from injury, they play their full allotment of minutes and they just smash. So in on Harden, Embiid, I think this is a slate where you mix and match the studs. You get exposure to all these guys because they could all go off. We have enough value where you can get enough exposure to all the big name guys in this slate. So I'd include Embiid for sure in my player pool if you're building a lot of lineups.
Yeah, I like the idea. We're going to get to a lot of the value coming up on this slate, but I like the idea. If you're playing multiple lineups, more of a concentrated player pool when it comes to the value that you can feel comfortable with, then you can mix in a little different stuff. I mean, it could be SGA, it could be Trey, it could be MB. Like there's a lot of really good ones in different spots. I think ownership would kind of be spread out up top.
You can probably play two of them as well, which makes it, if you go do the stars and scrubs, you can get in two of the studs. So, more exposure that way.
Yeah, as AP was talking about, mess with different builds, see are people just going one stud, more cheaper and a little balance? You can go get different, go two studs, can go all balanced. It's always important messing with Saber, seeing what you think other people, what the normal build will be. Then you can always adjust and get different that way. About 600 watching, 190 likes. Again, 310 likes is the number for the plays of the day. We have 3 games left on this slate. So got to hurry up a little bit. Big like button, big red subscribe button. Takes 2 seconds. We always do appreciate it for you. Want to get you the plays of the day. Going to talk a lot of value in this next one, though. The Miami Heat, the Memphis Grizzlies, 218.5 total. Miami is favored by 4.5. On the Miami side, a lot of injury news over here. Jimmy Butler questionable. Gabe Vincent questionable. Dwayne Dedmon is questionable. A lot of news on Memphis as well, though. We're not really waiting for anything, but Ja, Conchar, both doubtful. Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane are out. I mean, man, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, John Conchar, 4 guys that play a huge role on this team. Tyus, Brandon Clark, Dylan Brooks, Santi Aldama, David Roddy, Xavier Tillman, Steven Adams, who I just listed off a lot of Memphis guys. Who's in play, who's not in play for them. And obviously, it's hard to talk about Miami right now with like Butler and them questionable, but try and break down that side if-then scenarios.
Yeah, so with Memphis, as it stands, it's definitely the best value spot on the slate. I would for sure have 3 of these guys, I think, in every team that I build tonight. And, whoever it is, whoever your favorites are, that's fine. But I want definitely at least 2. And for me personally, I want 3. They're all really good plays. Tyus Jones at 4.3. Probably, the best value on the slate, depending on, what happens in the Pacers game with TJ McConnell, which we'll get to as well. That's why this spot's just cleaner. I mean, it's cleaner than that Pacers spot. So we have everything here. Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, Santi Almonte, Brandon Clark, all really, really good value plays. David Roddy should start 3.1K. Steven Adams, 5.7K. 3 of these guys are going to really smash their price tag. So like I said, I want 3 of these guys on all my teams. I think when it's all said and done, when you're building teams tonight, you probably want 5 guys combined between Grizzlies and Pacers on just about all your teams. I would be shocked at the end of the night if that wasn't the route to go. Definitely at least 4. I mean, at least 4 Grizzlies, Pacers combined. Especially if you're hand building, but all these guys are phenomenal plays. And like I said, I think 3 of them probably smash, even 4 or 5 could hit value as well. So you want a ton of exposure to this spot here. On the Heat side, kind of depends on these. I mean, I think Jimmy Butler plays. I mean, he returned and looked really good. One of the spots I just talked about, James Harden, he returned, played 35 minutes, put up 52 fantasy points, looked great. So, if he's in, it's one of those situations where I know I'm going to have a lot of Grizzlies guys. I do want some of these Heat guys. And if Butler's in, the only 2 I can really play are Jimmy Butler and Bam. You guys know how I feel about Bam, but because of these circumstances, I would include him. But again, in these situations where I know I'm going to be heavy Grizzlies, I want to include some Heat in my player pool. Assuming Jimmy Butler's in, it's going to be him and Bam. But all these Grizzlies guys are really good options tonight.
Is there anyone that you wouldn't play on the Grizzlies?
I mean, my least favorite would probably be Steven Adams, just because his role really doesn't change all that much, I don't think. So he would be my least favorite, but I'm going to play him as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing good ball as well, but I do agree with that assessment. Of all the guys that are hurt right now, he gets the least of the big ball. I mean, he already starts. He's not a usage guy.
Yeah, Paul George and Kawhi in, so I think you can avoid the Clippers tonight.
Awesome. Off the Clippers, even prize Zubac.
I agree. Center solo. I mean, it's Zubac. You can get there if you want at 1%. But
the price tags, you needed those guys to be out, because then the offense does run through them. So now you're praying for like a monster rebound game, some blocks and stuff. So
yeah, I think the Clippers side is an easy fade. AP, this Memphis side is definitely not an easy fade. I guess who wouldn't you play, if anyone? Rank your favorite Memphis. I'm on the hoop side with Jimmy Butler. Like, he came back Friday. They haven't played since. I'd expect him to play. I mean, I don't know for sure. He's questionable, but we kind of have to make a guess, because we probably won't get this game or the news before the first game locks. If then scenarios with Miami, and then break down this Memphis side, who you will and will not play.
Yeah, so I mean, I know the Heat, their like slogan is like next man up, Heat culture, but truly the Grizzlies are a next man up type of team with how they play. It's indicative by the spread, 4.5 points. If I'm just looking at these two teams side by side, Kyle Lowry, Hero, Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, Bam, the projected starting five for the Heat versus Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, David Roddy, Santa Claus, our boy, and then Steven Adams. I mean, I would think the spread should be Heat, close to double digits. Not the case, though. I think the Grizzlies potentially live tonight, just with how they play. All their guys step up. And look, like, speaking of volume shooters, the last time we had a situation like this, I think it was when they played Brooklyn, and Dylan Brooks is what I like to call him, but he put up 30 shot attempts. I don't care who you are. It could be, Mangone out there. You're going to take 30 shots. I'm playing your ass. So, I mean, man, yeah, I want a bunch of the Grizzlies here. I think Tyus Jones, Dylan Brooks, and then, the value pieces too. They're all in play. Steven Adams in these spots seems to be the guy that goes a little overlooked. And just look what he did against Philly. A tough matchup. I believe Embiid was in that game. Put up a monster number. 48.5 DK points. He was 4 from 11 from the field too, but it was the 16 boards. The offense ran through him a little bit more. He had six assists. Like him, and actually, if you go back to Mason Plumlee, I don't think I'm going to play Plumlee, but he would be someone I'd consider. They have similar roles and styles. Like the offense, they come up to the top of the key, get the ball, and they help to facilitate things. You're going to see that a lot with Steven Adams here. That creates, assist, opportunities. So Steven Adams definitely in play. And then, these bench guys, Brandon Clark should be the main guy off the bench. He should get a ton of run here. He did not crush. So like, I got in trouble when I played him against the Nets in that same game. But who's their other guy that's out? Laravia, is that his name, title?
Yeah, that was the guy that. Yeah, I didn't even mention that, but yeah, he's been getting some minutes.
But he's out tonight too. He was a guy he crushed against the Nets in that game and took away from Brandon Clark. Clark's fully in play here. So I love the Grizzlies 3-4. You could play, at least 3 or 4. I think it's probably the right number. And I don't feel the need to run it back. I'm actually going to probably lower the projections on the Heat side, because I think if I just don't play anyone on the Heat side, jam in a bunch of these Grizzlies, because I just feel like a lot of people out there are going to want to play one run back. When it's just in the NBA, you don't have to do that. So I'll be completely off the Heat here.
Yeah, mine would just be Jimmy or Bam, assuming that all the questionable tags are in. Mine would only be Jimmy or Bam, but I don't think you need to run it back at all. Yeah, I think you could play for Memphis, not play any Heat, and be totally fine, like you said, AP.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you guys on Jimmy. 8.5, that's relatively cheap for what he can put up.
I mean, if the game stays pretty close, which Vegas thinks so, Memphis is definitely good without Ja. I mean, man, he was really efficient when he came back, but those 15 boards, the peripherals are always there with them. I don't see too much ownership on him. So I think he's fine, but definitely not a core play by any means. 2 games left on the slate. Looking at the likes, 630 watching, 225 likes. Need about 85 more likes. 310 is the number we need for the plays of the day. 2 games left. Phoenix Suns, Dallas Mavericks, 222 total. Dallas is favored by 3. On the Phoenix side, Chris Paul is still out. Torrey Craig is out as well. As far as the Dallas side, Christian Wood is questionable. AP, I'll go right back to you in this one. Talk about Luka. Do you think you'll be able to get to him today? You're talking two spend ups, so I assume you have the money for Luka. But how does he compare with Embiid, with Giannis and them? Hardaway, Tim Hardaway, Cameron Payne, D-Book. What are your thoughts on this one, AP?
Yeah, I mean, Luka is definitely one of those guys I'm considering. I will say, out of all the teams out there, the Suns have done a good job at limiting him. I think, and all the times they played, I think he only has one triple-double logged against the Suns, which is kind of an interesting stat because Luka Doncic is a triple-double machine. But, man, the guy is on another level. We have all the value in the world to make him work, and he gives us a really nice floor. Those are the things that you want to consider on a slate like this. So Luka is definitely in my player pool. And then I think you have to consider a guy like Devin Booker with how he's playing right now. I know tougher matchup here. The Mavs, they like to play good defense, but look at they're starting Tim Hardaway Jr. Over Reggie Bullock right now. Reggie Bullock can't hit a shot to save his life, but he's a better defender than THJ. So that's why That's why he was playing like 44 minutes in the playoffs. Reggie Bullock can defend. Tim Hardaway can make buckets. So I think we see more points here. I like the overs in this game. I think Booker is in play. I think he's a great tournament play. I think Luka Doncic is a great tournament play. All right, title. I could jam in all the Memphis guys. There's other value pieces. Jalen Johnson. You could go Sarge in this game. We got the Indiana situation we're going to talk about. Jamming all those guys, okay? Then play Devin Booker and Luka against each other. That's kind of the build that I'm talking about that I think could have a lot of success tonight because I think this game does go over, and I think you could see both stars just put up a big number. I mean, D-Book coming off many just monster games. I think he had a 50 piece the other night, 51 against
58, 69, 69, yeah. 52. I mean, the dude's been on one for sure.
And then they blew out the Spurs, right? I didn't catch that game. But
yeah, I think he only played 3 quarters or something. Or that was that one. Yeah, he only played 27 minutes. So I assume it was a blowout. I can't remember the exact spot, but I mean he's been hot for sure. D-Book 10K. I mean, he'll be low owned. Luka. It looks like a game. There's Sarge at 3-3, but it doesn't seem like a game will come here for value. I think it's more of a mid-range spend up, if anything. Any interest in this one?
Yeah, just a spend up game for me. Luka for sure. I love Luka tonight. It's easy to get him. You look at the other studs on the slate. Not necessarily that there's like question marks, but I just think this situation is better. I mean, you have a close spread here. It's only 3. He's a little more expensive than those guys, so maybe people are hesitant to play him. Luka is going to be my guy tonight as my stud. I love him. If you're hand building and you can get that pairing of him versus Devin Booker, I think that's awesome to do as well. If you put that in, I mean, you definitely have enough salary. I just wanted to pull it up and see how much we had. If we go ahead and put those 2 in, you put in Luka, you put in Booker,
4,
you're
5,
left with 4 or 5.
0.
Yeah, you can definitely make it work on this slate. So I like doing that. But because of the other value plays that we have, that's going to be it in this game here.
We got 1 game left on the slate. We talked a lot about this Indiana situation. I'm getting a little nervous about the likes. Again, 1 game left. We appreciate if you hit it. 310's the number. We've hinted at it a lot. Indiana is thin in this one. 10 p.m. Eastern, though. So that Phoenix-Dallas game is at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. An hour and a half later, the Pacers take on the Warriors. Big total, 237. Warriors are favored by 10.5. Tyrese Halliburton's out. Chris Duarte's out for the Pacers. TJ McConnell was looking like a very popular play. Got downgraded to questionable with an illness shortly before we came on the show. This is what we've been talking about. I mean, I'm going to assume we're not going to get this news before any of the other games. I'm going to assume all the games lock. Worst case scenario, this is the only game left. What are we doing with TJ McConnell is a big question. There's Nembhard. Pace is already thin. They're without Tyrese, so you have interest in their side. I'm definitely curious to hear what you have to say about that side. We're not going to get the news, so talk some game theory when I get to you guys. On the Golden State side, though, Wiggins is out. Jordan Poole is questionable. AP, I'll start with you. I mean, man, what are we doing with TJ McConnell now? If you play him, Nembhard's $300 more. Nembhard's also a good play. So if you plug in both of them, where are you going to go with TJ McConnell if he's ruled out? If you just play TJ, would you save the 300? I probably would save the 300 if I'm not playing Nembhard. So you have an easy pivot there. There's Neesmith, I guess, if he gets ruled out. I mean, what's your thoughts on this Pacers side? This TJ McConnell stuff changed really the whole slate and how you have to view it, in my opinion. You can't just lock him in, assume he plays, and close your laptop for the night because you could take a 0 with a questionable take.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing, like projections are loving TJ McConnell. We know when he's out there on the court, he's highly productive. But that's like, all right, so one thing we have to realize, that's always against second units coming off a bench. So I feel like these projections on him, assuming he's starting and going to see starter-like minutes, he's not, if he starts and plays tonight, he's not going to have the same role as like Tyrese Haliburton would. I think all season long, he's only played 30 minutes once. I think it was against Orlando. So, like, man, I'm really torn. Is he a good play? Yeah, it would be a smash play if he's in there at 3.9K. I don't know if it's worth it to prioritize waiting for that news over, say, some of these other values that we have to consider, especially at the guard spot on the slate. Like, we already know Tyus Jones kind of locking him in at that spot. And then it's like, when you think about your build, are you going to spend up to like a Trae Young and get value elsewhere? Or are you going to save, that last value piece, for TJ McConnell? I think if you want to play him, I mean, I don't know about you, Title, but maybe put him in that utility spot just to give you more options if you have to move off of him. Maybe you move off to like an Aaron Neesmith if TJ McConnell is out. Andrew Nembhard is the other guy that I have a ton of interest in. We know he's going to play 4,200. The guy looks good. 35 minutes against Utah, 37 against Portland. Looked to be pretty productive. He's a guy I have a ton of interest in. Another value that we can go to. And then if you think that the Pacers have any chance of keeping this close, Buddy Hield needs to hit shots, and then Mathurin needs to come off the bench. I think he's going to have a big, an expanded role tonight on this slate. So I have a ton of interest in the Pacers side. Obviously, we need news, but outside of getting that news right now, since we don't have it, Nembhard, a guy I have a ton of interest in. Mathurin off the bench. I like Buddy Hield, kind of a tournament play. Like, I would much rather play Dylan Brooks, same position, similar price tag, than a Buddy Hield. So that kind of, takes that decision away from me, but he is in consideration too. So it's going to make things pretty interesting here. Miles Turner, I mean, man, this comes down to, it's like, we have so many other good center plays. I don't think I need to get there. He's going to chalk when he's in there. It just comes down to him hitting shots, and if he's getting the rotation that he needs. So really torn, probably avoiding Miles Turner. And then on the other side, man, like if Jordan Poole's out and if Andrew Wiggins is out, Klay Thompson becomes a phenomenal play. Stephen Curry, you another stud that you can consider. The guy's put up monster numbers. He's having a monster year. And then, I mean, this might be a little fringe on the slate, but again, if we go back to that flow chart, bigs against Indiana have absolutely crushed. Kevon Looney's actually been playing really good. I like his chance for a double-double tonight. He's been a monster on the boards. I see him getting some nice blocks here, and he's going to have the opportunity for putbacks. Now, again, I think there's many other better center plays, but in tournaments, Kevon Looney at 4,500, I don't know. There's probably worse plays on the slate.
No, I agree. Christopher Walls mentioned in chat too. Don't forget about Looney. He's been playing a lot better basketball. Man, I mean, yeah, it's not only the Indiana side. That's where a lot of the value is. It could only get better if McConnell's out. But with Wiggins out, Jordan Poole questionable, this game could turn into, I mean, if the news breaks right, McConnell's out, Jordan Poole's out. Like, I would love game stack in this game.
So,
I think,
Title, my one concern, though, I want both your guys' opinion on this. Here's the thing I fear is if the Warriors are up by like 30 or something, which is in the realm of possibilities, heading into like the third, like I'm not at halftime, but like midway through the third quarter, I could see both teams punting, getting there. I mean, you could see Kerr put in like Kuminga, Moody, who's upset with his rotation right now. So like I could see this game being a huge blowout, punting, and then it's like, God, I waited all this time for these elite value plays, and then they end up busting. So that's my one fear with this game tonight. No,
that totally makes sense. How I approach it, we talked a lot on the show, different people that came out and give their perspective. I just don't try and predict blowouts because 10.5 point spread is definitely a lot. But if this game's a 10, just say Pacers are down 11 with 7 minutes to go. Like, I'm expecting both team starters to be in, which is the only reason I'm not going to try and guess it. But totally, I mean, You game stack this game, it blows out. Yeah, you're not winning money. It's that simple at the end of the day. Who break down this TJ McConnell news? I mean, illness, downgrade to questionable. Nembhard would become even a better play. I think Benedict's the really interesting one. I mean, even if TJ's in, he's going to come in, he's going to chuck. Only gets better if he's out. I really like him. Can't ignore this Golden State side either with Wiggins out, Poole questionable. I mean, take it away. There's a lot to talk about in this one.
Yeah, it's a tough spot because it's a standalone 10 p.m. Eastern game, hour and a half after the last other game locks. If you're building these teams with McConnell and Nembhard together, you're going to be a little bit jammed up. If you are, building teams that have McConnell and not Nembhard, it's easy. You just kind of pivot there. Make sure you save yourself that $300. Now, if you're playing those two together and McConnell's ruled out, then you talked about it in the pre-show, you're probably going to have to go to a guy like Aaron Nesmith. You're going to be a little bit jammed up. But again, you could potentially get a nice advantage because a lot of people avoid putting themselves in these late swap conundrum situations. So you have to get exposure to this game. Nembhard's probably going to be very, very popular because people are going to be scared away from McConnell. Now, let's say McConnell's ruled in, and you save the spot for him. A lot of people probably won't. They're going to see that questionable tag. They're going to see the 10 p.m. Eastern standalone game. They're going to want to avoid it. So I think McConnell, you still want to build with the assumption that McConnell's in and then make the plans, make the contingency plans. If you're hand building, make sure you have swaps available as well, because you don't want to get really jammed up. If you're doing a bunch of lineups, it might be a little bit more difficult to manage. So Buddy Hield, I do like as well. I think he's a very strong option at 5.8. AP brought up a good point. If they keep this game close, Buddy's going to have to score the ball. So I am interested in Buddy. Klay Thompson on the other side, I think, is a solid option as well. And then maybe a little bit of Steph Curry. But the stud I like the most on the slate, like I said, is Luka. Yeah,
I like it. That is 8 games. We're waiting on a bunch of injury news. You have to come in with a plan, as always with an NBA slate, but especially today, especially with the Indiana side, if you're touching the TJ McConnell, have to have a plan going in. Assume assume for the worst always. That's how I approach it. Assume you're not going to get that McConnell news till all other 7 games lock, with it being an hour and a half later than the rest of the games, and just have a plan. If he plays, he's a great play. If he's out, then Nembhard gets even a bigger bump. Benedict gets a bigger bump. Everyone on the Pacers would get a bigger bump. AP, you're about to say something. Before you do, though, I want to give one last chance for people. 310 likes, 18 more likes. AP's going to talk. I'll try and stall for a minute or something, but I'm going to look back. We need 310. Others, we're going to get on out here. Want to get you the plays of the day. We appreciate it. AP, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on the news that Lopez and Allen are out. So we should see.
Someone in chat asked, Bobby Portis, you're just about to say it. Is he a smash now?
I don't like him when he starts as much alongside Giannis. We don't get that true, like, he could still be productive. He could still do it. But I feel like Giannis, when they play side by side, he's a much better producer when he's on the court and Giannis is off the court. So that's just facts. You can go look at it. So I'm not like getting, I'm not going to give Bobby Portis like that big of a bump here. Honestly, I'd rather just like play Giannis, because we already, the mid-range already is like taken care of. The value on this slate is already taken care of. Okay. So this is back to that kind of fringy type of play. I'd rather just go up to Giannis or go Drew Holiday. So that's where I would be at here. And then I'm still not playing anyone from the Magic side.
Yeah, my quick take on it is DraftKings makes it easy. 6.8K. There's no chance I'll get there. Middleton's back. Drew's back. Giannis is back. He slides in the starting lineup. His rebounding rate goes down, all of that. So I think easy fade there. FanDuel, a little more interesting at 6.1K, but man, it's still an 8-game slate with a bunch of value. I don't think we really need to get to Bobby on the slate with the healthy Bucks team and Middleton back. So that's my approach there. If you want to be a member, I'm trying to stall. I have not looked at the likes yet.
So we got Ahmed in chat too. Like, this is a show where we break down game by game. Like, because he's like, oh, you guys talk about every player. If you've been listening, yeah, we're gonna break down every single game, which forces you to talk about a lot of different players. But if you've been listening, we've keyed in on a few different spots here tonight. So
I think he came late and a lot. Today's an interesting.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Some days early, we want fade. You load up on the later game, or fade, load up on the later game. Sometimes it's just the opposite. the beginning games, the earlier games today are not nearly as intriguing as the later games, is how I look at it. That's just where the value is. So, I mean, that's why if you watch our show, I mean, we don't tout every single player and go about it that way. But if he was also looking for a favorite bet, we do have guys on the bet side, Run Pure Bets. Spread and Tyler do a great job every single day. The NBA Rundown Show, usually bring a member on the DFS side as well. They take it more from a betting perspective, talk some DFS as well. They go every single game on this channel, Run Pure Sports channel, talking touchdowns. They talk football. I'm on there. Kurt's on there as well. Then the NBA Rundown Show, they talk some hoops. So tons of content we have over
one
here.
Other thing too, Title. I'm just going back through the chat now, so I
haven't
should do this more
yet.
often because
I hope we have 310 likes.
I'll battle these people more often, but Luka is averaging 30 points in the last 4 versus Phoenix. 30 points for Luka? If you're paying 12.7K for someone, you need the peripherals too. You need the triple doubles, and it hasn't come against Phoenix. But I do think it comes tonight because I'm definitely on Luka tonight. So hopefully he gets us more than 30 points, though. 30 real points.
I wonder if any of those included the playoffs as well. I know Dallas and Phoenix had that series, and playoff basketball and regular season basketball is just so much different with minutes, schemes, all of that. So I don't know if those numbers play into the playoff at all. Hoop, you're about to say something?
Yeah. Well, I just got to run and take my daughter to basketball practice, but I'm going to give you my play of the day.
Rich parents play the day.
Rich parents play the day. Clint Capella, he's going to smash for 40. So good luck to everyone out there.
Clint Capella, the rich parents play the day. Have a good one, Hoop. I'll go to myself. AP is going to cap us off. Then we're going to get out here. 333 likes was the play of the day. First, Alex Hahn said, you like Giannis tonight. I do like Giannis, but I also do think there are better spends that are a little cheaper. So I like it more than Luka personally, just because the $800 savings, but 11.9, I still think I like saving a little bit, jamming in an extra stud and going that route today. With Middleton back and Drew back, or Drew's been playing. With Middleton back, though, I'm not going to be surprised if we see Giannis defer a little bit more, try and get Middleton back in the rhythm. So that's my take on him. We're going to get to the SO play of the day, though. I'm going right back to that last game. I'm going big man Benedict Mathurin. Dude's going to probably come off the bench. Why I love this play, if McConnell's in, I'm totally fine with him still. He's going to come in. He's going to chalk. They're going to need his scoring. And if McConnell's out, he even gets a bigger bump, and people aren't going to be able to get to him more than likely. People aren't going to have multiple spots left in this game. 5.4K compared to 3.9K. Probably not going to have swaths to get up to Benedict. So I think there's even a better opportunity if the news breaks your right way. The news that breaks the wrong way, McConnell's in, you still have a big upside with a pretty low ownership I'm seeing for Benedict. So he is the SO play of the day. Gentlemen's call of the day, P. Take it home for us.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Trae Young. Tough slate for plays of the day, just because like there's a lot of chalk out there. But I'm gonna go Trae Young, 9.6. Price tag is awesome. The usage is gonna be crazy. Like Gary was, shouted out. Shout out to Gary, the stat that he touted on Twitter. Trae Young, play of the day.
Trae Young, Clint Capella, Benedict Mathurin, the 3 plays of the day. We had TJ Bergenschatz and Nembhard. Even if McConnell is in, thoughts? Yes, I think Andrew Nembhard is a great play, regardless if he's in or out. And that's what it made it so tricky, because a lot of optos were jamming in, not Benedict. They were jamming in TJ McConnell and Nembhard together. And then if McConnell gets ruled out, you have to have thoughts on a pivot that way. So he's a great play regardless. The ownership will be higher. That's the reason I went with Benedict Mathurin as the play of the day. Fun show. We appreciate all of you hanging out with us. We appreciate you guys getting the likes home for us. Like button, big red subscribe button on the way out. Not just NBA though, NFL tonight. Big boy prize pools as always. Check out the show with JT, Big T, and the Millie Maker winner on this channel for free. Become a member. Head over to Run Pure Sports. When you do, make sure you do get in the Discord. There's no better spots. Members, coordinators, talking sports, any sport, pretty much at all hours of the day. So head over to Run Pure Sports. Check it out. We appreciate it. We hope you have a great night tonight. Let's see some RPS logos up top. Join the live show chat. Watch the Up the Lock show. That's going to do it for us. For AP, Hoop Who is gone. Signing behind the sticks. I'm Titletown. Good luck, everybody.